Does that look familiar? I see a ton of people getting stuck in the transition zone. We're gonna unpack the biggest mistakes when you're getting up to that kitchen line and how to fix them. In this video, we are gonna be discussing the trade-offs versus dropping versus driving, really breaking down the techniques of those shots, how to feel comfortable in the midcourt. I think a lot of people try and rush up to that kitchen line. We're gonna unpack the cues you wanna find to get up to that line. And then at the end, we're gonna do a little bit of rec play where we're calling out all these things we're talking about so it's a little easier for you guys to visualize. Let's get into it. So we saw there I was getting to the kitchen with both a drive and a drop. We're gonna break down the advantages of utilizing the drive and utilizing the drop and how to go interchangeably between the two and what to think about there. All right, so looking at the drive is a faster shot, so we're gonna have less time after it, but what I'm using a drive for is either to get an easier next ball to drop and get to the kitchen, or if I have a partner that can shake and bake, so I drive this and they pop up that next ball, my partner can capitalize on that. And then finally, if someone doesn't handle pace well, the drive is good at just overpowering them. Now we're gonna get into it and I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at when I'm driving. So see there, I hit a good drive. That next ball came back a little slower, and now it's much easier to hit a drop. On that first one, if I was to drop, it would be a lot more difficult and a harder to execute shot. Also, if I'm more comfortable with the drive, I'm just gonna keep driving until I get a shot that's easy enough to hit a drop on. So see there how Jackson kept the ball deep on those first ones? I'm just waiting, I'm using that drive until I get a shorter, slower ball, and I'm able to hit a much easier drop, and it's a much more high percentage shot, and I'm able to get to the kitchen behind that. So there, the other advantage of the drive is it allows your partner to get aggressive on the next ball. She hit a really good drive, and now I can bake on that next shot, and we got the point off of that. The advantages of the drop now are it gives us more time to move up, and it forces our opponent to either hit a weaker shot on that next ball because we get it low, or they're gonna take an unnecessary risk. So we're getting time to move up to that kitchen, putting our opponent in an uncomfortable position. Let's get into it. So see there, I'm able to take all this ground. He's having to hit up on this shot, and I'm slowly working my way into the kitchen, and I'm gonna keep dropping in this transition zone until I get established at that kitchen line. And there we go, I'm able to get up to that kitchen line. With this drop though, I only want to move forward if I know he has to hit up on this ball. If I pop it up a little too high, I'm just gonna hold my ground and keep working. I see a lot of times people are moving in too quickly without split stepping or without being balanced as they're hitting this shot. So on that one, see on a few of those, I left him a little higher and I just held my ground there and moved in when that ball was dropping and he had to hit up on that. All right, so navigating this midcourt, what I really want to think about is making sure I'm balanced on contact and only taking ground when I hit a good shot. Balanced on contact means that when my opponent is hitting the ball, I have a little split step in this transition zone. A lot of times people try and rush through this transition zone. We want to get really comfortable in this area. Right now we're gonna get into a drill where we have one person in the transition zone, one person at the net. I'm only gonna move up when he has a ball that he has to hit up on, and I'm just gonna hold my ground on those balls that he can hit down on. I really wanna emphasize the split step and then moving on a good shot. The person at the net is gonna feed this. And there, once you get up to that net, you're just gonna reset into this midcourt and make sure you're only moving up on those good shots. Keep in mind there, I am not moving up. If I pop this ball up, we don't want to be in a rush to get to this kitchen. We're slowly taking ground away from our opponents until we get to this kitchen line without taking additional risk. Hey guys, I'm here at the Pickler. Super pumped to talk about their 30 for 30. If you click the link in the description below, you can get 30 days of unlimited play for only $30 at the Pickler. I'll see you out on the courts. It wouldn't be a CG video if I didn't give you some technique on the drops and the drives. So really what I'm thinking about is on this drive, it's my hips are bringing the paddle out and then the arm goes for the ride. A lot of times people try and use the arm a little too much for power and we're just really using those hips. So hips give us the power and this drive, we're probably hitting at about 60% pace, not trying to overhit it, but putting placement at a premium. And we're aiming for kind of those hips crossbody. With the drop, what we're focusing on is not lifting out of this, we're staying low through it, balancing that cup of water on the head, and then not breaking the wrist. Those are gonna be our big things. And then finally on both, let that ball drop onto the paddle. This is something that I talk about a lot, but it's so important and can really help your game. So now we've covered moving in and how to get up to that kitchen. We're gonna call out 4 things that we've talked about in rec play so you guys can see live examples of how this works. So the 4 things we're gonna call out in this rec play are not moving forward if it's a good shot, not splitting on our opponent's contact point, making the right shot selection in the midcourt. This means not just driving in the midcourt and allowing them to smoke it back at our feet. And then third thing is this is a team sport, so not giving an indication to your partner whether you hit a good or a bad shot. This will help allow your partner to move up with you on those good shots and be a little bit more aware if it isn't great. All right, so the first thing we're gonna call out there is on this side, not moving forward on a good shot. We really wanna be cognizant of when our partner hits a good shot, moving up through that. So we saw Cheyenne kind of stay back there and not scoot up on that good ball, taking that ground away. we're gonna talk about moving through the shot. We wanna be balanced on contact and then moving. We don't wanna be in a rush to get to that kitchen. Whether we're in the transition zone, splitting on their contact, we wanna be balanced that whole time. And so the next thing we wanna talk about is partner communication. So we're at the baseline, we wanna be letting our partner know if we hit a good shot or a bad shot. This can help our partner, as we talked about in the previous mistake. If you say good or bad, it can help cue your partner to start moving up to that line. So the more you can over communicate, the better. And so that's one where Cheyenne was moving through that shot. It was a little bit more attackable. She's moving as she's making contact. We wanna make sure we're splitting on contact point so we can be balanced, reset that ball, and then look to attack after that. All right, so we've covered how to get up to that kitchen line. We've given you some examples of how to get in. If you still have questions, drop them in the comments below. But hopefully now you're able to get up to that kitchen line like a pro. Thank you to my sponsors, Zaya and The Pickler, for sponsoring this video. And also make sure to subscribe for bi-weekly YouTube videos with Tui Nation. Thanks for tuning in, guys.